Bring the lights down low, time to start the show. Lights, camera, you know what we mean. Behold the magic of the silver screen. Some movies rock, some movies shock. They're powerful or odd. We cover them all on your favorite pod. They're dramatic, funny, sometimes scary. That's not weird, that's extraordinary. I got the need and I've got a fever. So play me a little dream weaver. Life moves pretty fast. Some will fizzle and some movies last. I understood there would be no math. It's the 30-something movie podcast. Be excellent to each other. Peace out and word to your mother. They're from the best decades. Movie magic that never fades. Lightsabers clash, phasers set to stun. Action packed from dusk till dawn. We have deep thoughts and questions three. Come share our love of the movies we see. Life moves pretty fast. Some will fizzle and some movies last. I understood there would be no math. It's the 30-something movie podcast.
Ha ha ha. Hey guys. This is the greatest podcast I have ever seen.
You haven't seen a lot of podcasts then, have you?
Hey, Patrick. How are you doing? I said doing.
I am the great
I said
cornholio.
doing. If you look at the word doing, it looks like it says doing.
Man.
Bo, you commented earlier that I'm drinking a caffeinated beverage this late at night, and so what my plan is that once I finish this, then my shirt will go up over my head, and the second half, once we get to the 3 questions, I need 3 questions for my bunghole.
3 questions, 1 by 3.
Bunghole. So, I have to admit, it has been a long time since
Are you asking me questions?
partook of Beavis and Butthead.
Uh-huh.
It has been exactly 30 years for myself.
I don't recall him walking around just saying bunghole,
Oh, yeah.
quite as much. And I get it. The shtick was he was all hyped up, and that's why he was like, bunghole.
You got to watch some of the newer stuff, too, because they've got some episodes with old Beavis, and he also goes into the whole bunghole thing. And there's one where he steals a shopping cart full of drugs from a pharmacy, and like everything around him, he is completely oblivious, and everything around him is like bursting into flames and exploding. And I need medicine for my bunghole.
Bunghole. Like, and I remember I need teepee for my bunghole, like the whole thing. I just don't remember him ever walking around just in a daze going bunghole as much as in this movie. God, it was cracking me up.
There is no bunghole, for there is one almighty bunghole. Bunghole.
Just
Okay, if the title of if when you looked at this episode in your podcatcher, dear faithful listeners who have probably left us by now, you knew that we were doing Beavis and Butthead Do America.
you chose this. Just remember.
You chose it. So when you look at your feed and you're like, wait a minute, I thought the last episode was 648. Why is this episode number Bunghole? Then you'll understand that we have completely lost our minds, and this is probably just going to be one of those where the episode makes no sense.
Bunghole.
Exactly. We just sound like idiots the entire time.
And to any of our younger listeners that, because I know sometimes students check it out and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have seen this, there is no way to describe how and why this whole thing happened. I say that, but then I think, how far away is this from some of the humor that happens on YouTube?
It's not.
It's not. It almost seems like there's a relation there.
Yeah. They always say how things come around again. And I think as 90s fashion comes back and everything else, I feel like 90s humor may also be coming back, because Beavis and Butthead came back. They brought him back, I think, in 2011 or 2013. And then apparently, I did not watch it, didn't see it. There were other things on my mind. In 2021, they did a sequel to this movie.
Jeez.
It came out on a streaming service, and it was Beavis
Bunghole.
and Butthead Do the Universe.
Bunghole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really the only response is bunghole.
I am the great cornholio. I have streaming service called Bunghole Plus. You need extra TP. You want TP with no ads?
So, okay, as someone who...
You want 4K HDR with no ads? You pay the most for your bunghole. You must pay money out of your bunghole, for there is only one ATM bunghole.
So, all right, before we dig too deep into this,
Okay.
I read some.
Are you gonna
I
bring
read,
it up?
You
I
said,
read some criticism on the line.
Bo, you said deep.
I did. That this was nothing more than an extended episode of the show.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, what did you expect? Like, I don't know. It's not like someone who didn't know what they were doing would go to watch it.
Right.
Yeah. What do you expect?
Like, and I know, like, we talk about the Star Trek movies sometimes and how they use the movies to try to attract new audiences and blah, blah, blah. But really?
I don't think you can change Beavis and Butthead so much to attract new audiences. I think if they're there and you like that humor, you're going to show up for it.
It was such a weird criticism. I was like, okay. I mean, I see what you're saying, but
yeah. Cool comment, bro.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
have to,
Yeah.
I think you have to observe the animal in its natural habitat. I really do. Like, I think you have to see the movie for the time that it came out in and what it was like. If you don't know that whole Beavis and Butthead thing, then if you come back and watch that, you're going to be like, what am I looking at? Right? So.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's dive on into this one before we lose all of our brain cells.
What brain cells?
Right. Spoiler alert. We spoil freely here, so be warned. If we mention something else, you don't want to hear about it, maybe hit that skip button a couple of times. We will have moved on past it. Make sure you visit our website, podcast.com, where you can leave us a rating, a voicemail. You could become a co-executive producer over on Patreon and get a whole bunch of bonus content over there as well. And then we'll just probably dive on into the movie info, the trivia on this one. This one came out December 20th, 1996, rated PG-13, 1 hour and 21 minutes, directed by Mike Judge, who was also the writer of this one and a producer of this one. Mike Judge had also done Office Space and Idiocracy. He is also known for King of the Hill and Extract. Joe Stillman was also one of the writers. He did Shrek and Planet 51. Producers, other than Mike Judge, were also Abby Turcule, maybe, who did Joe's Apartment and Is It Fall Yet? A composer was John Frizzle, who did Dante's Peak and Alien Resurrection. Cinematographer was David J. Miller, who did Shriek, If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th, and Deep Down. Editors were Gunter Glinka. Well, that's quite a name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gunter Glinka.
I wonder where Gunther went.
Terry Kelly, who did Tammy and the T-Rex. Oh, look at that. Tammy and the T-Rex. Well, that explains
that
everything.
doesn't surprise me as much as maybe it should.
And it
That
all comes into
explains
focus.
Everything. When you can get a brain in the jar drunk by dropping a little alcohol on it, that's Tammy and the T-Rex. And then Neil Lawrence, who did Doug and Daria. Production company was MTV Productions and Geffen Pictures. Budget was $12 million. Box office was $63.1 million. Flickmetrics gives it a 66%. And CinemaScore gives it a B+.
There you go.
Let's see. The actors in this one. Mike Judge played Beavis, Butthead, Tom Anderson, Principal McVicker, and Mr. Van Driesen. He was also in Spy Kids 3D Game Over and Punch Drunk Love. Bruce Willis was Muddy Grimes. He was in Die Hard and Pulp Fiction. Demi Moore was Dallas Grimes. She was in Ghost and G.I. Jane. Robert Stack, who passed away in 2003, was ATF Agent Fleming, giving everybody the full body cavity search. He was in Airplane every time. I'm talking Roto-Rooter. Don't stop till you reach the back of his teeth.
Bunghole.
He was in Airplane and 1941. That also tracks. Loris Leachman, who passed in 2021, played Martha, the old woman. She was in Young Frankenstein and The Last Picture Show. Eric Bogosian was the ranger at Old Faithful and the press secretary. He was in Under Siege 2, Dark Territory, and Talk Radio. Greg Kinnear was uncredited as ATF Agent Bork. He was in As Good as It Gets and Little Miss Sunshine. And a lot of other people when he was doing the full body cavity searches. David Letterman was the Motley Crue roadie / Butthead's dad in the credits as Earl Hoffert. He was in Cabin Boy and Man on the Moon. Toby Huss was the TV thief and other multiple voices. He was in Jerry Maguire and Rescue Dawn. The director, Richard Linklater, was the tour bus driver. He was in Spy Kids and Chelsea Walls. John Dahman was the airplane captain. He was in Mystic River and Blue Valentine. And Tim Guinea was the ATF Hoover Dam agent. He was in Iron Man and Blade.
David Letterman, did you say David Letterman as in The Late Late Show, David Letterman?
Absolutely. He was the one that played Butthead's dad.
Okay.
So this was
I'm just going to
go
say,
ahead.
I think what we're finding, this is where it's more of a movie. The movie is different than just the episodes, is they took an episode
Mhm.
and they got it stacked with all these actors and personalities. They put like a movie soundtrack to it. I think that's where it changes. You know, whoever the critic that gave the weird critique that said, well, this was just like a glorified episode. That was the idea.
Mhm.
You took Beavis and Butthead and put like Robert Stack and Demi Moore in it, right? Like, I mean,
Right.
I think that's the big difference. Anyways, I'm interrupting your open.
No, and supposedly it was because so many of these celebrities were Beavis and Butthead fans. Like they took below the usual like Screen Actors Guild minimum to be able to be in this movie. They basically volunteered to be in this. Bruce Willis, Demi Moore, all these people wanted to be in this movie, so they took less than what they would normally, what the minimum would normally be required for an acting job because they wanted to be in it. I saw somewhere they were listing off people who were fans of Beavis and Butthead, like almost from the beginning. The one that maybe shocked me the most, maybe shouldn't have shocked me, but did shock me, and this is not just a chance for me to do my Patrick Stewart again, is Patrick Stewart.
Wow.
You know, it doesn't surprise me knowing that he and Seth MacFarlane seemed to get along well and work together. Like,
Yes.
he does a voice on American Dad. Like, I can
Yes.
sort of see the line in between, you know, the line between those two
Yeah.
things.
Yes. Beavis. That's
Bunghole.
number one. That donkey is doing a number two.
Check his bunghole.
I am the almighty Captain Picard. Do you have TP for my bunghole?
Boy, jeez. Well, there went our final two fans.
There you go.
Well, you know, we got to keep them guessing, Patrick. It's
Oh,
part
they're
of
going
our
to be guessing.
charm.
They're going to be guessing. I guess they're
Are
going to be doing something else
threatening
tonight.
me? Are you threatening me, sir? Make it so.
Well, I guess they're going to be listening to another podcast.
Yeah, there we go.
Fun
No,
stuff.
they're not. If they're
No,
if
they love
listen to
us. They
they're-
love us.
Yeah,
The people
I
love
don't know
us.
about love, but they tolerate for
they
sure.
tolerate. There's definitely a toleration there. So yes, so tons of famous people ended up in this one. Originally, so here's a little trivia for you. Originally, the route they wanted to take, and I say they, when I say they, I mean Paramount and MTV, they were pushing hard for this to be live action.
That's great.
And
I
their
did
original
read a
plan-
little about this, and I shook my head on several
Yes.
levels. But
yes, their original plan was that, and I think this was always the plan if it was live action, was they had a couple people in mind for Butthead. Beavis was always going to be played by David Spade.
yeah, which okay,
See our previous conversation as to how much David Spade I'm willing to take.
right.
It's not Bobcat Goldthwait levels, but David Spade has an expiration date for me. The two that they were considering for Butthead were either Adam Sandler or Chris Farley. So basically, it would have been like Tommy Boy 3, Electric Beagle.
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
Yeah. So that was one idea. They also wanted to intersperse, much like the TV show, they wanted to intersperse a bunch of music videos in this. And Mike Judge kind of fought hard against that too. He's like, that doesn't make any sense at all. This is not a TV episode. So that's kind of a stupid idea. So what he did instead was he had where they go into the casino and we're playing Roller Coaster of Love. They end up in the desert where Beavis consumes some peyote and they have this Rob Zombie designed artistic style as he is just tripping on this thing.
Bunghole, bunghole, bunghole. I realize that it is hysterical that I am that amused by that, but there was something about that scene where he is just walking around,
Mhm.
shirt over his head, and that's
Mhm.
all he said for probably a good 5 minutes.
I mean, that's basically the show and the movie.
Bunghole, bunghole, bunghole.
It's
Yes.
you want to
Good
get him
God.
enough drugs or pixie sticks that he turns into Cornholio.
Well, and I think that's what was so amusing
We
for me.
need the Avengers version of this. Where it's like, Beavis, be a really good time for you to become Cornholio. And he turns, pulls the shirt up over his head and starts shivering. He's like, that's my secret, Captain. I
You
am
wouldn't-
always
Cornholio.
Bunghole.
You wouldn't like me when I'm Cornholio.
You wouldn't like me when I run out of TP. Pat, how are
boy.
you doing tonight?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Just fine here, thanks.
I'm fine. We're fine here now. All right. Well, let's give you a quick synopsis, then we'll run through the major moments here, and we'll do our stuff. We'll play a little trailer audio for you. We usually do the voiceover as I try to do it as Don LaFontaine. I didn't feel like that fit this time. So in honor of this particular movie, we're going to do it like this. So like, Beavis and Butthead lose their TV and go on a road trip. And this dude, Muddy Grimes, thinks we're hitmen, and he pays us to do his wife, Dallas Grimes. He wants us to do Dallas. Then there's, like, chicks and FBI guys and explosions and stuff. Totally rocks. This is the greatest movie I have ever seen.
In cooperation with authorities, we request your assistance in apprehending America's 2 most wanted fugitives. Sketch artists have prepared the following likenesses. This Christmas, Beavis and Butthead hit the road. To seek their fortune.
I want to watch TV.
Find romance.
Can I help you with that?
I love you. Come to Butthead.
You got 2 seconds.
Is that gonna be enough time?
Win fame.
I am Cornelio.
These are the most dangerous men in America. I want these faces in front of every Fed and 2-bit sheriff within 1,000 miles.
Get the hell out of the cockpit.
You said
And do an entire nation.
Whoa. Wow, what is TV?
I think I found the remote.
Beavis.
That's amazing.
This is the coolest thing I have ever seen.
You want to see something really cool? Butthead.
We're on a bus with chicks. Hey, baby.
In an adventure too big for your television.
Did we miss Baywatch?
No. Beavis and Butthead do America.
I extend my deepest thanks.
He said extend.
Coming this Christmas.
One of my favorites is, and I know it's a completely different character, but I enjoy hearing his voice, is their neighbor. Is it Tom Anderson, I think is his name? I hear his voice, and I immediately think Hank Hill.
Well, yeah, because it's
it's almost basically the same character.
It's the same voice, if nothing else. I mean,
We even get a
obviously,
propane comment in this, too.
We do. I was like, hey, I see what you did there.
Yeah, he said it. He said it.
He
said
said
the
it.
thing.
Yeah.
Is that not? Is it not the same character? I wasn't sure. I thought, did that character grow out of this, or is it just a coincidence?
So the Hank Hill character grew out of the Tom Anderson character. So Tom Anderson is the next door neighbor. He and his wife are the next door neighbor. Marcy, I think was her name. Yes, and he's a completely different character than Hank Hill, even though he sounds exactly like him. So basically they took this character and they kind of split him off into King of the Hill. But he is a totally different character than Hank Hill.
I see. Was it the same creative team, the same people and everything?
Yeah, it was Mike Judge. Mike Judge does
okay.
the voice. Mike Judge created the character. Yeah.
Got it.
And supposedly when they came back, the recent seasons that they did, season 9 up to the present. So in this, supposedly he's supposed to be like 70 years old in this movie. In season 9 up to the whatever they're doing presently, he's supposed to be in his hundreds. So he has continued to just stay alive, I guess. Yeah. So, but I always fun to hear he doesn't say something ain't right with that boy, but
Yeah, but he
anytime
should.
anytime I get to hear the surprise whoa kind of noise, I'm like, oh, it's Hank Hill. All right. Well, some major moments for this one as we do a quick fly through of the top 10 moments from this movie. Number 1, Beavis and Butthead wake up to discover their most prized possession, of course, their television set, has been stolen from their living room, prompting them to leave the house in a desperate search to replace it, or find it or replace it. Moment number 2, while wandering into a cheap motel, they stumble into the room of a drunken smuggler named Muddy Grimes. Mistaking the boys for the hitmen he hired, Muddy offers them $10,000 to do his wife, Dallas, which the teens gladly accept after misinterpreting the word as a sexual proposition. Number 3, then Muddy flies the boys to Las Vegas to track down Dallas, but during the flight, Beavis consumes an entire bottle of caffeine pills. He transforms into his hyperactive alter ego, the Great Cornholio, accidentally causing complete chaos in the cockpit, you said, and nearly grounding the aircraft. Upon meeting Dallas in Las Vegas, that's a confusing beginning of a sentence. Upon meeting Dallas in Las Vegas, she quickly realizes the boys' profound ignorance, To get rid of them, she smuggles her stolen bioweapon, the X5 unit. You said unit. She surreptitiously sews the deadly virus capsule into the lining of Beavis's pants. Dallas tricks the boys into boarding a tour bus bound for Washington, D.C. Meanwhile, the ATF discovers the biological weapon is missing, and the aggressive Agent Fleming spearheads a massive nationwide manhunt for the two unsuspecting teenagers. After getting kicked off the tour bus for causing a disturbance, Beavis and Butthead wander aimlessly into the wilderness of the American Southwest. They briefly cross paths with two older drifters who happen to be their biological fathers, though neither generation ever quite realizes that connection. The boys hitch a ride with their clueless teacher, Mr. Van Driesen, and eventually make it to the nation's capital. They wander away from their tour group and gain access to the White House grounds, completely unaware the military and the ATF have encircled the entire property. Agent Fleming orders a full cavity search of everyone on the premise to locate the virus, and as the tension escalates, Beavis experiences another caffeine rush, causing him to wander into the Oval Office and steal the president's personal stash of candy. Butthead is captured by the ATF, but Beavis manages to evade security. He is eventually cornered on the White House roof by Muddy and Dallas, who are arguing over the weapon before being swiftly apprehended by those federal agents. And then finally, Beavis's pants are removed, safely securing the bioweapon. Hailed as accidental national heroes, the duo meets the President of the United States, Bill Clinton, who rewards them by returning their original stolen television set to their Highland home and extends the nation's gratitude. He said extend.
Boy.
Yeah.
Bunghole.
Bunghole. All right. It is now time for, I can't believe I'm going to say this, it's time for Deeper Thoughts.
And now, Deep Thoughts.
I have an opinion on this matter.
Don't mince words, Bones. What do you really think?
I like it a lot. Wow. It's very deep. Thank you.
Fire, fire, fire. I don't know if you guys know this, because, Bo, you said that a minute ago. Did you know that they actually removed all references and did not allow Beavis to say fire anymore after a certain point? There were stories about children starting fires because of Beavis. And so there were parent groups that said that a fire was started, and I want to say in one particular fire, a child's sibling may have died.
Oh, Lord.
And these parent groups came out and said that it was because of Beavis and Butthead. And it was because of Beavis's enjoyment of fire.
Penchant for fire
Yes, his penchant for arson. You said, no.
Nope. Have to draw a line somewhere.
Somewhere. So yeah, that apparently the TV show after whatever episodes, then they could not show Beavis, and I guess they went back and re-edited some old ones to remove him doing his whole little fire kind of thing that he would do.
Wow.
So then come to find out, I believe what I had read was they did discover that of the different families that had complained about this, none of those families had cable. So there would have been no way they could have seen it because it was on an MTV, which was on cable. So yeah. All right. When was the first time you saw this?
This is where I get to be officially embarrassed. I don't know that I ever saw the whole thing until this watch through.
Okay.
But I've seen so much of it in sections over the years, just flipping around TV and whatnot, that after having watched it all the way through, I had seen this whole movie. Like, I knew everything that happened. But I can't prove that I ever sat down start to finish and watched, which was a really weird feeling for me. Like, I was like, wow. Because at some point I was starting to realize that, and I was like, God, but you have to have, but then I was like, I do not recall doing that. So it was interesting, to say the least.
So I remember I saw this in theaters, and I'm trying to, and I cannot remember, what was it called? Was it just called Hawthorne Theaters? The one where they're in Vernon Hills, where there's the PGA store now.
That's what it was in my head. I'm just not sure if that's...
Yeah. So little tiny theater. Like, there wasn't much there. I want to say maybe 4 screens, possibly. And so I remember seeing this one, and was it the same time? Let's see, this one came out, when did I say this one came out? It came out in December. There was a time in which, when did The Craft come out? Nope, that came out in the summertime. Okay, never mind. Those were the 2 movies I remember seeing in that theater, in the Hawthorne Theater, was The Craft and Beavis and Butthead Do America. And I vividly remember going to see Beavis and Butthead Do America in that little theater in Vernon Hills. And I want to say I couldn't, which is odd because we were in high school at the time, I want to say I couldn't find anybody else to go with me. So I want to say
Bunghole?
Yeah, I know. And so I want to say I went to go see this one by myself.
Yeah.
And it might have been one of the first times I went to go see it by myself. Went to go see a movie by myself. Yeah, I'm trying. I can't remember who might have gone with me. I don't remember anybody going with me. But I'm fine with that. Like I actually enjoy seeing movies by myself. But yeah, that would have been the first time I saw this one when it came out. So it was probably during winter break. And I just traipsed my little self down to the Hawthorne Theater's quadruplex down there and saw my Beavis and Butthead Do America movie. Patrick, what about you? When was the first time you saw this one?
Yeah, probably when it just came out. I think I went to the theater to see it. Maybe not. It's hard because it came out in December of 96, right? So that would have been winter break, first winter break from college. So I don't remember seeing it with college friends. I maybe came home on winter break and like reconnected with some high school friends and we went out and saw it. I would have said, well, I saw it that summer, but then that really wouldn't make much sense because I don't think the movie was still playing 4 or 5 months later, right? Movies usually didn't last that long in theaters. I mean, unless
probably
it was
not 4 or 5 months, unless they came back for
April. Yeah. So, and it wouldn't have been like, hey, getting back in the summer, have a sleepover with some friends and we all check out. Like, I don't think we were doing that then. So I must have seen it in December and was like, guys, let's go see Beavis and Butthead. Maybe, or I just remember, maybe I saw it on my own. You know what I'm saying? Like I was up at college and watching it on my own, or maybe we rented it and watched it one night. Like I honestly don't remember when I first saw it, but it was like about 30 years ago. I mean, it was right about when it came out.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause occasionally I would watch the TV show. Like I was not a regular watcher of the TV show, but every once in a while I would catch it. But I can't imagine anybody who was in high school or college at that point in time. I don't know how anybody would not know who Beavis and Butthead were. So even not religiously watching the show, there's not a whole lot to know. So I still knew enough about Beavis and Butthead to be able to interact with and enjoy the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the movie? Do you enjoy the movie? Is it just stupid fun? Does it go further than stupid fun for you? Where are we at on this one?
It's stupid fun for me.
Am I still on, or did you guys lose me?
I think I have to be. It's stupid funny for me too. I think I have to be a little bit in the right mindset to be able to put it on.
You definitely have to want it. That's not entirely true. The mindset's a good way to put it, because if you stumble upon it in the right mindset, you're like,
right.
Like when I first saw it on the list for this year, I was like,
you immediately start doing the laugh.
Yeah, it's kind of automatic. You're like, yeah, okay, this will be fun.
Hey, baby, I noticed you have braces. I have braces too.
I
Disappointing that I don't think they actually got the real Chelsea Clinton to put any lines in there.
Yeah, shocking.
Yeah.
Really.
What are the thoughts on it? I remember watching Beavis and Butthead. I remember watching it whenever we'd be going over to a friend's house. Like, my family was the ones that never got cable. Like, I had 2, 5, 7, 9, 11, 32, 50, 44 to work your Espanol, and occasionally 66. Like, those were my only channels. So my family never had cable till I went to college. Then my family decided to get cable. That's another story for another podcast. But the point is, it'd be always when we'd hang out, sleep over at a friend's house, that's when we would, that's when Beavis and Butthead would get watched.
Sure.
So here's the thing with Beavis and Butthead, and I'm going to be really careful how I say it because I don't want anyone to think I'm hating on it by any stretch. But Beavis and Butthead for me is sort of like, the late night pizza place that you go to, right? It's the late night pizza place that tastes really good, not because it's like the most incredible pizza you've ever had, but because you can get it at 2:00 in the morning and it just tastes so good. Now, if you were going to go get that, if you were going to go out to dinner and say, hey, we're going out to dinner, let's go to that late night pizza place that always just tastes so good. It'd be like, not really in the mood for that. Can we just go ahead and name your favorite pizza place? But when it's 2:00 in the morning, that place where you get that like late night pizza, the pizza dude's coming. You don't have to leave your place. You can just hang out. And that's kind of how I feel about Beavis and Butthead. When it's late at night and I'm like, man, what do I want to watch? Let me just watch something that I'm going to laugh and just kind of hang out, enjoy the show. I really, and I mean, this is kind of the Mystery Science Theater 3000 thing. I love like when, watching people make commentary the show. So I really liked when the music videos had come on and they like comment on the music videos. I thought that was pretty cool. So that's how I feel about it. Like and I both kind of like you said, if you're in the right mindset, like if it's like, hey, late at night, what am I watching? Hanging with friends, sleepover, we should be sleeping, but we're going to put something on. Even if I start dozing off, it's not like I'm going to miss critical plot points. I can just kind of come in and out of consciousness and enjoy this. That's kind of how I like
plot points.
That's how I'm going to enjoy Beavis and Butthead. So I enjoyed it, but I just can't get like too wrapped up and wound up. It's just something that I just got to chill out and just enjoy it for what it is. And that's how I feel about the movie too.
Yeah, I think this is one that it's going to be a little tough to watch from start to finish, but I think in small bites, this is where now I'm like, I feel like things like TikTok and things like that, while I partake of that, I do feel like at times that is killing the brain cells of America's youth. Speaking of, hi, Nora. Hey. How you doing?
Boy.
Hey,
boy.
What's up, kiddo?
Do you have any comments about Beavis and Butthead? There we go. Did you hear that?
No.
Oh, come on back. You got to say it. You got to say it in the microphone. Come on, say it in the microphone. Do it.
No.
Say
a little something into the microphone.
Say something. Come on back. Say it right here. Say what you said.
I'm okay.
Say what you said.
No, I'm okay.
Do you have
TP?
TP? For my bunghole? There you go.
That's right.
There it is. There it is.
So this is high quality podcasting right here, guys. This is when we hit the big time. So, so I think in small doses. I think just like you would watch Saturday Night Live skits, I think like maybe a good 5 minutes at a time of this movie is probably the right dosage, and then it kind of reaches a point where it's like, yeah, that's probably enough.
Well, and that's what the show was, right? Like the show would be a little skit, and then they'd watch a video, and the show would be, so that's where the pacing really kind of works.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I have too much more to say about the actual story of this one. I think they did a nice job of, if you were going to take something and expand it from being just an extended episode to whatever it's going to be, I think this is a fun way to get them in different situations, to get them going on some kind of a weird, crazy road trip, to the catalyst being something totally stupid, like needing to replace their TV, and then they end up in these completely hapless situations with total misunderstandings and everything else. I think that this was probably done as good as you could do any adaptation of a TV show, and especially a TV show where this is the premise of it. In fact, Siskel and Ebert gave this movie 2 thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
So they loved it, and other people absolutely love this movie. And it, for what it is, it actually gets some pretty high ratings on like the Flick Metrics and Rotten Tomatoes and places like that. It comes across often as being kind of a stupid movie, but at the same time, there is kind of a smartness about it in what they are, as they're going through their bumbling, what they're critiquing as they're going through the bumbling is much like, I think, King of the Hill and Idiocracy and Office Space and all those other movies that he's done. I think you've got the stupid humor, but there is definitely something that is smart underneath the surface, and you might not always catch it, but it is definitely there.
Right. Well, and I think too, you've got a lot of people that are fans of this, of Beavis and Butthead. And, they were like, oh, let's make it live action. And there were people saying, well, how come there wasn't like, it was just like an elongated television show and all this kind of thing. Well, yeah, because the people that made it, you were saying, like, they got all these actors that are just fans. Hey, we just want to be in the show. We'll like basically volunteer to do it. So it is what it is. And what they put on the big screen was an expression of what this is all about. So, this is kind of the thing that we always say, oh, well, that's, this is just a money grab, or they're just doing this because the studio wants them to make it this way, or, all this kind of things. Well, these guys are just taking these 2 characters and it's taking the screen or taking this show and they're putting it on the big screen. And that's that. And they're just doing it their way. So, it's kind of like, I mean, it is what it is. And why should we expect any different? And it's kind of what we ask. That's kind of what we ask our shows to be anyway, is like, hey, don't be beholden to the movie studio. Like, do your own thing, make your statement, make this be a true expression of what this show is really supposed to be and make it unique. Well, Beavis and Butthead is really unique, and they took that really unique show and put it on the big screen. So,
yeah.
for them to turn around and then try and kowtow to the studios or change things up or do something unique, or we're really, well, that kind of would then make it more Hollywood mainstream, which would defeat the purpose of what Beavis and Butthead is. And then we'd all be sitting around saying, oh, they sold out. It was a cash grab. This wasn't, blah, 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 blah. So they just did their thing. I guess I'm not surprised about the 2 thumbs up. And, if it's not your humor, you can find something else.
Well, and the way they put this movie together, too. I mean, the different people that are involved. Mike Judge, given the movies that he's done Idiocracy, he created Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill, all these other characters, all these other properties, Office Space. So you look at that, and a lot of it is very what we would call stupid humor. But I was reading up on the guy, and he actually is an extremely smart person. Like, he went to school, I believe, when he went to college, he studied physics. And then he ended up working with, like, fighter jets.
Oh, geez.
And then he was bored with that job, so I think he became a bass guitarist. And then he kind of got a little bored with that. And so then somehow eventually he ended up in movies and TV and got really, really excited about animation. And so I think he had an animated movie. It was the character of Milton, and it was the Milton from Office Space. And that's kind of how he got the idea for Office Space. It was an animated thing first. And then this one, there was a, what was it? It was Beavis and Butthead were like playing baseball with frogs. They were like whacking frogs with baseball bats. And that was the original idea that became Beavis and Butthead. And so, I mean, he's a very smart guy, but you look at some of the things he's done, and your initial knee-jerk reaction might be like, oh, well, this guy's just all about the stupid humor. But it's not. I think, especially like King of the Hill, like that is one of my favorite animated shows, just especially over the last few years. And I was really happy when they brought it back for another season. There's a lot of really smart stuff that you're probably going to miss if you just watch it and think, oh, yeah, this is just stupid humor kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on underneath the surface. Now, I'm not going to say that's happening all the time with Beavis and Butthead, but I do think there is some stuff a little bit below the surface. I will also follow that up and say this movie is embarrassing to watch in public. So we are fans of the podcast The Greatest Generation, in which their tagline is often a couple of guys who are a little bit embarrassed to have a Star Trek podcast. Well, when I was trying to watch this movie, I was at one of my trying to fix some of my back and leg problems. I was at the chiropractor at my appointment, and I was doing some of my stretches. And while I was doing some of my stretches on one of the exercise devices, there's a little spot where you can put your phone so you can watch something while you're doing it. And of course, I've got earbuds in because I'm not an idiot. But I am watching Beavis and Butthead Do America, and I'm realizing there is also a row of people behind me that are also stretching, and their devices are maybe offset just enough that they could probably see what I'm watching. And I'm sitting there thinking, I feel like I should be watching, I don't know, something on PBS or NPR or something that looks like it's edifying in some way. And yet here I am stretching and watching Beavis and Butthead as a grown man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
so I was slightly embarrassed, but
Well, and I guess I hear what you're saying. And I don't want to ascribe anything to this that isn't really there. But I guess the response would almost be like, when the Matt Damon character in Good Will Hunting was talking to the Harvard guys, and he was quoting all the books and all that. And he says, yeah, well, at least I'm not. I guess that's what the response would be to someone criticizing this. No, it's just stupid humor and all that. And that's fine, like, because there is parts of it that it is, but at least it's not unoriginal. And I almost feel like a lot of this was that what's the right word? Is it coterie of shows, that cadre, that lineup of shows that was on MTV, those cartoons? Yeah. And I heard you in the intro, someone worked on the cartoon Daria. Was Daria MTV as well?
Because Daria was one of their, I think, if I got it right, Daria was one of Beavis and Butthead's classmates originally.
That's okay. Yeah. That's what I thought. It was the whole world. And I got to be honest, like, I kind of felt like I know who these people are. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's it, is that, okay, maybe it's not, it's not revelatory, right? It's not like, oh my God, I'm going to see the world in a different way. But watching these characters, it was more mature humor, even if it's stupid humor, but it was like a stepping stone. So, you're a little bit older when you're watching these things, or maybe you should be, but you're like, yeah, I knew Daria. I went to school with Daria. Yeah, I know Beavis and Butthead. I went to school with Beavis and Butthead. Yeah, I know that, like, I know all these things. And I think that's really, when I watch the show, yeah, okay, it's from another time. But that would be the connection is like, yeah, I remember people that watch videos on music television. I remember sitting there making comments about videos on music television. Like, I remember all this stuff. And so I think that's where it is relatable because, yeah, I grew up with this and I grew up. That's how kids were, some kid, not all of them, but that's who those kids were. I remember having the same reaction when we watched Clerks, right? Like, okay, I feel like I know, I feel like I know all these guys. And now it's almost like, you take something like Clerks and, Jay and Silent Bob are like a part of it. Right. And then Mallrats and then they do the Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And that's where they go big. And it's just outlandish because, hey, we really like Jay and Silent Bob. Let's give them their own movie. But when you go back and watch Clerks, that it's a different feel. I kind of feel like that's with Beavis and Butthead. You watch Beavis and Butthead and you're like, that was just part of that generation growing up, watching those MTV cartoons. That felt like it made sense. Well, now we're going to go big and we're going to take Beavis and Butthead and put it on the big screen, put a whole bunch of actors in there and to give it a crazy soundtrack, not crazy in terms of wild, but like a full film soundtrack type thing. And they're going to go big, right? And it's going to seem stupid and dumb and all that. But when you see what these characters are, it's kind of like, yeah, that's, that was funny. That made me laugh back then. I can't run away from that. And that, like I said, I feel like I know what they were lampooning when they were creating those characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Do we have any other comments about Beavis and or Butthead before we go into 3 questions?
No.
I was going to say both guys.
I have an opinion on this matter.
Before we get into 3 questions, let me real fast go take some caffeine pills, and I'll be right back.
He asks each traveler 5 questions. 3 questions. 3 questions.
It's impossible to answer.
Impossible because you don't know the answer.
Nobody could answer that question.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Are you asking me questions? Do you have questions? Questions for my bunghole. All right, question number 1. It's just going to cause more problems as I ask these questions anyway. So, what is your question number 1? What is your favorite Beavis and Butthead moment from the show or from the movie?
I think we've talked about mine enough tonight.
But... I think I'm daily doubling that. Like any
bunghole.
Yes,
it follows the rule of 3s times 3 in comedy, right? Like. It's just so ridiculous that you can't help yourself.
And I think being a teacher, we all have experienced a cornholio at some point in our careers.
God,
at least one, if not more. Like there are just times where I see students walking around doing something, and I'm just like, what really? That's what you chose. Okay, all right. Or I just look at him. Sometimes I just go, what are you doing? I don't understand what's happening here. Yeah. So I'm going to daily double that. Anytime he gets overly caffeinated or sugared, then
it's just bunghole at that point. I mean,
yeah, when he gets overly Wilford Brimley'd, then he turns into Cornholio, and I think those are some of the best moments. You have TP for my diabetes supplies? All right, Patrick, what is yours?
Well, you guys are daily doubling, so I'm going to give 2 answers. I really, really like when they would do the videos and make comments about the videos. I love that, and I guess we still have an iteration of that because you have, yeah, you do, because now on YouTube you have like a bunch of reaction videos, right? Like,
oh yeah,
reacting to Def Leppard, reacting to this scene in the movie, reacting to, like, so I guess that's, but I just. Growing up, that just seemed to be a big thing. So I really liked when the videos would come on and all that. The second thing...
I feel like you kind of said it earlier. Like Beavis and Butthead was kind of the Mystery Science Theater of MTV.
Yeah.
Like you had this group that was making fun of, critiquing the videos that were being played on MTV in a funny way. And so they were kind of like the Mystery Science Theater 3000 of MTV.
Yeah, and they would do some weird videos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because and I want to say that's how I first found out about like because didn't they have like Guar and all that stuff on that? And I'm like, I don't. So that would be one. The second thing my favorite memories is the theme, like that. I think it's just the theme. And I'll tell you, man, like, you know, and I know there's a word for it, but you know, when like certain smells or certain sounds or certain whatevers will take you back. Whenever I heard that guitar riff, it would take me back to hanging out. It'd be 2:00 in the morning. We really should have gone to sleep. I shouldn't have finished that bag of Doritos. You know, like just hanging out with friends, and it was just great time. We were playing video games, we were doing whatever. And then somehow the night would always end with watching Beavis and Butthead. I mean, I don't know why, but it would always end. And it was just like, okay, well, I made it through the movie, somewhat awake, somewhat asleep, you know, whatever. And then Beavis and Butthead come on. And for some reason, that theme would always be like, okay, time to go to bed. And if it was the intro theme, it was like, okay, well, we're watching Beavis and Butthead. If I fall asleep and wake up and fall asleep and wake up, I'm good to go. Or I'd hear that theme, and that would be kind of like I'm not going to say it'd be like my lullaby, but I just remember sleeping over at friends' houses and hearing that theme and be like, all right, time to go to sleep. It's like late at night, and it's just, I don't know, it was just kind of like a chill guitar theme. So that one, whenever I hear that theme, it brings me back and gives me all the feels. So yeah, those were my favorite parts of that, is hearing that theme. And then, you know, now 30 years on, well, 35 years, 36 years on from sleepovers and all that, it would always bring me back to how fun it was to hang out with friends and stay up late and talk and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, that's almost, I mean, I'm just going to say that's almost like the podcast. Like now when I keep prolonging the podcast, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but there'd be times like Matuch would be on this and we'd get talking and you'd be fine, like, okay, I'm reassigning the host. And Dennis and I had talk all night. And there was one or two times, I don't know if we told you, but we ended up talking all night. It was like, snap, we got to go to work. Okay, man, sign it off. And then it was just like, go upstairs, wake the kids up, jump in the shower. And you were like, how late were you guys up? Like, we didn't go to sleep. We talked all night.
Sleep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We pulled a couple all-nighters with the pod. And you're like, are you serious? And and it's the same kind of thing. It's just like, hey, man, you know, we're hanging out, we're talking all night. It just, you know, solving the world's problems, whatever. And that theme kind of was the little soundtrack for it. So,
yeah, I remember some of those times. I was like, you know what? I love you guys, but at midnight I turn into a pumpkin, and by 1 a.m. somebody has come along Halloween night and picked me up and smashed me on the street. So I got to bow out at some point.
There's an image, jeez.
Wow.
You know, it's what happens if I stay up too late. All right, question number 2: what is your favorite U.S. landmark or museum? It belongs in a museum.
So do you.
So do you, Dr. Jones. I have a few that I really, really enjoy. But the one I think recently I probably had some of the most fun at. Well, I'll list a couple, but then I think there's one that I'm gonna have as my primary one. When we went to Kentucky last year John had some baseball tournaments his senior year, and it was in Louisville. And we went to the Louisville Slugger Museum, and that one was a lot of fun. We went to the Kentucky Derby Museum that they have there, and that was a lot of fun. The one I think I'm going to list, though, those I absolutely love. I really, really enjoyed those. The one I think I'm going to list, though, is the one that I wish I was more knowledgeable about this stuff. It's kind of like me and music. I don't understand music. I'm a musical idiot, but I enjoy it, right? I love music. I love listening to music. I love to pretend that I can understand half of what's going on when a piece of music is playing. In much the same way, I feel the same way about airplanes. And yet, I absolutely enjoy learning about airplanes, but I feel like I don't know anything about them. Like, I don't think I can actually talk intelligently about them. So I'm going to list as one of my favorites the Experimental Air Museum in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I really, really enjoy that museum.
That's awesome.
That's mine. That's
awesome.
I'm gonna list that one. Because you've been there, Pat.
First of all, I want to say that I completely empathize, and I don't think you're an idiot at all. First of all, you had the guts to come in and sub in the 7th grade band, and that's awesome. And number one. And number two, I can completely empathize with you because I'll tell you, I made a career out of just really loving music and being a complete idiot with it. So I'm telling you, I got more in back of me than I do in front of me, and I lasted this long being a musical idiot. So I can empathize with that as well.
Basically, when I came in and subbed for the band, I looked at the pages as if I knew what I was doing, and I would turn the pages pretending as if I knew where we were in the actual sheet music. I had no clue. I'm just like staring at the kids and every once in a while nodding, being like, that sounds good.
You were just using the think system. It's fine.
It was, yeah. But I'm looking down on the page, and I'm like, this means absolutely nothing. This might as well be Sanskrit because I have no clue what's going on here. But let's turn the page so it makes it look like I know what I'm doing.
Well, like I said, the kids had a ton of fun. And that was great. But I do, because there's times that, I'm just turning the pages.
Mm-hmm.
John, I've been to the EAA, but not recently. It's been a long time ago. And I remember when you went and described it, I mean, it's obviously gotten bigger and more, and I really need to get back up there. I might even just take a road trip myself and go up there.
All right. Let me know if you need any company.
Yeah, maybe we should just road trip it on up there. I would really like to go. My favorite museum. Boy, that's hard. And it's got, you just said hard. This is United States, right?
Yes.
So you know what? I might just kind of join you in spirit and say the Air Force Museum down in Dayton, Ohio. I really have liked going there. I went a bunch as a kid. And then it was, I don't know if we brought Daniela or if it was before she was born and Dominic was really young. I can't remember, but I want to say Tammy and I were driving back through and we stopped there again. And it was like, it just all came back because they've added more planes, right? Like there were planes that I'm like, oh yeah, that plane was like super top secret. And now there it is sitting on the ground in a museum. Like, holy moly, But then the first couple of rooms we walked through, I'm like, this has not changed, which is cool. So I really like that museum as well. And, that's pretty incredible. So yeah, I might not daily double, but I'll go of kind and say another air museum.
This is tough because you want to say the Air and Space Museum if you've been, because it's pretty cool. The one in DC. Like
yes,
it
is.
It was an amazing experience, and I would like to go to there again. And then you start to think about stuff closer to home, and you start thinking about the Field Museum, which has an amazing collection, Science and Industry, which has some cool stuff. So that's hard, but I guess I'd have to say the Air and Space Museum.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say because I've only been once, but it was something else, It was different. It was bigger. It was, and I would say that of all the Smithsonian stuff. Like we went to 2 or 3 when I was there, and it's on a different scale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or even if it's not, it feels like it's on a different scale. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You had mentioned airplane museums. There is I'm going to say a museum in air quotes because it's not much of a museum. It's more of a library.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have traveling exhibits that go through there, and it's pretty close by, and it's a cool the architecture is really cool too. The Pritzker Military Museum and Library up in Kenosha.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I've been there too, yeah.
Yeah, it's a place you kind of got to keep your eye out because you don't really hear about the roving exhibits that come through there. But I saw the coolest thing about a year ago now. It was a stained glass exhibit, but it was all stained glass from bombed out buildings during World War II. Okay. And it was there was a chaplain. And, part of this exhibit was his story, but he had collected all these shards of glass, and then he worked with these artists, and they put together this whole thing, and it was just amazing. There's a whole book on it. In fact, we bought the book. I don't know where it is. But it was super cool, and that's just, I wouldn't call it my favorite museum, but it's an interesting little hidden gem, and you can see some really cool stuff there.
Yeah, nice. All right, and finally, question number 3. If you were going to travel across the United States, which route would you take? And you could go east to west, west to east, north to south, south to north, however you want to do it. If you need some extra ideas, I did drop a link in the chat, and if people following along want some ideas, there is a website, roadtripusa.com, that actually lists out some classic American road trips that you could take across the country, and they even have a helpful map to show you like where these road trips go. So if you were going to take a route across the country, which way would you go?
For me, it's got to be north because I want to try to see Devil's Tower and Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
Those are kind of on my bucket list.
I think that might be in the Great Northern road trip that they have here.
That would make sense. I know that they are not as easy as it might sound to see in the same trip, because when you get out there into the Great Plains, it is vast tracts of land.
Huge tracts of land.
Yes.
Now, Alice, Herbert, think of me as your father in a very real and legally binding way. Different movie. The one I looked up that I think could be, that I would think might be the most interesting for me, would be one they call the Loneliest Road.
Mm-hmm.
Oddly enough, it's not 1. I would think that would be the loneliest number, but the loneliest road apparently is running I think it's most of US 50, and it goes coast to coast from San Francisco to Ocean City, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Dubbed the loneliest road in America, is a 3,200-mile odyssey from sea to shining sea. US 50 passes through a dozen different states, 4 state capitals, and the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. But the thing I was reading about on this one that makes me think this would be the road trip I would want to take is you probably get the best variety of the different types of ecosystems that there are in America. Like, you're going to pass through forests, you're going to pass through deserts, you're going to pass through mountains, you're going to pass through the plains, so it sounds like you're going to pass through as much of the different styles of ecosystem that there are in America. And it looks like it's the one that just cuts almost immediately across the middle of the country. Like, you're going California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. Where are you going here? When you're ending up in Washington, D.C. So I think that one, loneliest road. I'm taking that one if I'm getting my road trip.
I think if it's on my motorcycle, then I think it's like I'm going south to the tail of the dragon. And that's, and I gotta, I researched it. I knew all about it before, but the tail of the dragon is something where there's like, some ridiculous amount of turns in 20 miles or something like that. And I can't remember, and I'm really sorry to all those that like know it and all that are not geographically challenged like myself. I know there's a couple of different there's like the Skyline Highway and there's all these different the names for the different roads down there, but they kind of wind through. But it's the tail of the dragon, and it's a specific road that, like, people with real good handling cars or motorcycles will go down and they ride along it. And I'd love to just road trip down there and ride that road. I'm on my bike. I think that would be really cool.
It is Deals Gap, North Carolina.
Gap. That's what it was. Deals Gap. I couldn't forget, and I'm getting all the roads mixed up. But yeah, the actual tail of the dragon, Deals Gap, North Carolina. Okay, good.
Says it is famous for its 318 curves in just 11 miles.
Yeah. And
that's a lot of curves.
Yeah, it is. And it's yeah, I'd like to get down there. I think that would be really cool. And it'd be a heck of a road trip to get down there, take my motorcycle to North Carolina. But yeah, I'm kind of lost in the train of thought there, thinking about that. But I've seen video of it. I know my folks took a road trip down there, and they said it was pretty cool back in the day. So that would be on the bike. The other one, it's funny, you just kind of Google, like think Forrest Gump it. And I'm like running across America. And it was funny because I found this thing where they said, yeah, and it was kind of the artificial intelligence Google variant or whatever pops up. Skynet jumped in there and said, well, if you're looking to run the roads, then, running along these roads. But if you want to run trails, and I've got to research it more again, but just the other day, I was reading about this trail that goes, coast to coast. And it's all supposed to be like off-road and trail that you can just run across the country on. And I'm like, well, I got to research that more because that might be kind of cool. If there's points where, people could, the support vehicle could, come and, get you and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think running across the country on that would be cool. And if I remember right, because I kind of fell down the rabbit hole of researching it. I want to say that the trail is somewhat near where we live. Like where it passes through. It's like, it's not that far away. So I'm like, oh, that would be cool. So I know that, there's people that, either hiking the Appalachian Trail, and I know that some people, run the Appalachian Trail, and there's different trails, and, they'll get a support vehicle and they'll go so far for the day, and then someone will come, either meet them and they camp or pick them up and take them to a hotel. And the next day they go more. And yeah, I just thought about that. I'm talking to Tammy, like, you want to see the country? You'll have a lot of alone time. You just go do your thing, and then we'll meet at the end of the trail. And, depending on how I'm feeling, how many miles I take, I don't have to be anywhere on time. Could take a couple of years, could take whatever, So I want to take a look at that and see, because like I said, I was just reading about there's this trail you can just run across the country on. So
that's wanting to pull a Kung Fu the Legend continues.
Patrick just kept running.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe I take a month and I go.
Once Patrick retired, if there was anywhere he was going, he was running.
Yeah, running away. But I mean, and let's say, I take a couple months and I only get this far. All right, well, then, the next year I go back and pick up right where I left off and keep on going. Dennis is going to be retired before most of us, or all of us. Maybe I'll just go run to wherever Dennis is, and then I could write a memoir, Finding Dennis Vatouche or something like that. Yeah. Figure out where he's at and just run out there. So anyways, those were kind of the little dreams that I was concocting when answering this question, or thinking of the answer to this question.
I know you mentioned a bunch of trails, but I know some people who have done sort of what you're saying, and they'll do the Ice Age Trail. And, you park, you pick your route for the day, you park a car at one end, drive the other car back to where you want to start, hike your part of the trail, and then you go pick up the other car and you go home, and you just do that whenever you have free time. And
well, Bo, it's kind of funny you mentioned that, because just last weekend I spent 12 hours on the Ice Age Trail. So, and I can 100% vouch for that. That is just an awesome place.
Yeah, we haven't told the podcast people that Pat ran the ultra marathon.
Yeah, running might be. I ran some. There was some slogging and all that kind of stuff.
Pat shuffled portions of the ultra marathon.
You ran 200% more of that marathon than John or I could have.
Guaranteed.
So, I mean, there's that.
Well, I each to their own. I'm sure, like, whatever you guys put your minds to, you can definitely do. But it's funny. I'm just saying. Well, I'm just saying that it's really funny that you mentioned the Ice Age Trail, because, like I said, that is cool. And it's funny, when I was telling someone, I'm like, yeah, the race was up on the Ice Age Trail, and it's an incredible race, or incredible run. But they were like, oh, well, we have there was someone saying, well, we've got a cabin that's like right near the Ice Age Trail. And we were talking and we were figuring out start points. And it was funny because they're like, oh, wow. Yeah, you were nowhere near our cabin was, because, and the bloody thing stretches just so far, which is very cool. So, but yeah, and that's exactly, how the race works. There's a start point and you do a little loop, and then you like 2 out and backs on the trail, so it's a portion, I shouldn't say the trail, a portion of the trail. But yeah, you just pick up one section and go. So but it's anybody that likes to just be in nature, whatever your capacity. Yeah, check out that Ice Age Trail. I can 100% agree with what Bo is saying.
Yeah, we're having a long conversation about this today. I've started going back to the gym and trying to, just be healthier and all that good stuff. And I am such a weenie. Like, I can't get in the headspace yet where doing the workout is the purpose of the thing. Like, it's so much easier for me if I have a game to play or a thing to do. And I can't help but wonder if I would be better at just going for a walk if I had a thing like the Ice Age. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I just don't do it well.
There used to be an app that I had downloaded at one point that was called Zombies Run.
I was just going to bring that up and ask if you remembered that app. Yeah.
Did you do that too? Yeah.
Well, you told me about it. Yeah, you told me about it.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going. It's awesome.
So it was, because I also do not enjoy exercising of any kind, and exercising my right to eat.
Yeah, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, but no, this app, and this is probably 15 years ago. And so this app was something somebody had put out, and basically what it was an exercise app. And so you would, as you were doing your exercise, it would somehow, I don't know if it was tracking your steps or tracking distance or what it was doing, but as you would do your stuff, and you could do it even if you were on like a stationary bike or a treadmill or, something like that. And while you are doing this, it's got audio going on in your earbuds of somebody saying like, oh, well, we got to run. We gotta run a mile out to go find the supplies that we got to pick up to bring back to the bunker where we have all the survivors living. And oh no, the zombies are behind us. We got to run faster now. Or, we got to make sure we get out here. And so as you're going along and doing the actual exercise, you're also getting a bit of a story in your ears, but you're also building up these accomplishments. Like you can get these supplies that then help you build your, your shelter up to be stronger and sturdier so the zombies can't attack you. And so there was a whole kind of a story and a game that went along with it. And that kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, well, that's probably a good option for me, because then that kind of distracts me from the fact that I'm doing something I don't necessarily want to do in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Oh, that also ends our June road trip month. So we have been on the road, on the campaign trail, all over the place this month. On our Patreon, we did Taxi Driver from 1976, and then regular episodes, we had Bottle Rocket, Black Sheep, Get on the Bus, and we ended it here with Beavis and Butthead. Next month.
Sorry, I had to get one more in. It's like a compulsion.
That's fine. Hey, Bo.
Hey, what, Butthead?
This is the greatest podcast I have ever been on.
Whoa.
Power of Beavis commands you.
Bunghole.
Come to Butthead. I am ready for love.
Hey,
That's
baby.
one of my favorite voices that Butthead does.
Yeah. When he gets super serious.
Yeah. And just everybody listening, I know that when I did the impression of Butthead, I said Beavis. I don't do impressions, guys. So I'm sorry. Anyone listening closely, I know I just messed that up. I'm aware. Send your complaints attached to a PlayStation 5 to the pod, and we'll be okay.
Quick, Pat, do a Sean Connery doing Beavis.
Turn the lights down low. It's time to go. It's been great talking to you guys. Have a good night.
There you go. Uh-huh. Yeah. Don't go anywhere. We're recording another one after this.
We're going to start the recording. I don't know how long.
We're going to start to record, then Pat's going to fall asleep.
Say
Maximum
goodnight,
Destruction.
Pat.
Good night, Pat. Good night, Ned.
Good night, Ned.
Okay, before I say what's happening in July, we're gonna pull the curtain back a little bit. And I'm gonna
careful.
And I'm gonna tell
what you show people.
It's not that kind of curtain. It's not the beaded curtain. Okay, so I'm gonna tell a little story, and Pat, I'm gonna lovingly throw you under the bus. Okay,
that's one of the greatest statements in the history of statements.
So
I have to agree.
So I show up in the band room, I think earlier last week, and Pat is so excited. He's like, "Hey!" And it was great talking movies last night, and like, "Hey, I stayed awake the whole time." And I looked at Pat and I go, "No, Pat, you didn't. You fell asleep. You started snoring, and Bo and I had to like mute you because you were snoring on the podcast." And you're like, "No!"
Did I? And the best part was I didn't remember. I'm like, "Really? I fell asleep?" Well, then I
you had
woke
no
up.
clue.
It was during the first movie we recorded. That's right. And we were in the hallway and we were walking by. I'm like, "Hey, good morning. How you doing?" "I'm doing good." I say, "Hey, man, that was great." Like, "Yeah, that was great." "Hey, and I stayed awake the whole time." "No, you didn't. You fell asleep." I'm like, "Really?" "Oh, no." The best part was Tammy had walked in and like, it's like, "Hey, wake up. You're podcasting." And I was like, "Wait, what?" "Oh, man, that was close." "Nope, it wasn't. You were totally asleep."
And what's funny is now
Close is a matter of inches.
What's funny is now, like some of the students, that their knee-jerk reaction, if it seems like I'm aggravated about something, one of their first questions will be, "Did Mr. C fall asleep on the podcast?" Like, no, that's not why I'm angry, guys.
As they're coming in late and asking to go to their locker and asking to go to the bathroom, they're like, "No, sit down." "Did Mr. C fall asleep on the podcast?" That is outstanding. That's one of your triggers now in their minds.
Mr. Reed's cranky. Mr. C must have fallen asleep on the podcast.
Oh, God.
No, Mr. Reed's just cranky.
Yeah, Mr. Reed's just cranky. That's my secret, kids. I'm always angry.
You wouldn't like me.
When the office calls down and calls your phone to ask for a kid to report to the office, and you get short with them, they're going to say, "Hey, just a question. Did Pat fall asleep last night?"
Yeah. Don't even get me started on that. 5 times in one day. It was super exciting.
My God, that is awesome.
All right. So July is our Maximum Destruction month that's coming up next. Our Patreon is, we've got White Squall that we're going to be doing for our Patreon episode from 96. So that is coming up. Our Patreon short, if I should have a chance to go see it, Spider-Man Brand New Day should be coming out. And so I think I'm going to try to do a Patreon short on that one. Then our regular episodes, this is a 5-weeker this month, this time around. So we have got Independence Day, Dragonheart, Twister, The Rock, and Eraser.
Oh my good God!
We are gonna blow the heck out of July.
Like, this all came out in 1996.
Yeah,
man, the 90s were awesome.
So
I'm kind of excited for Dragonheart. I can't even remember the last time I saw.
I'm concerned that Pat's not going to make it through the month of July because with White Squall, Independence Day, Dragonheart, Twister, The Rock, and Eraser, Pat may not survive.
I know, these are so fantastic.
Pat's going to be in a little puddle on the floor by the time we get done with all this.
And it's funny because this is what I think of the 90s. Like, you know how we were always like, is that really a 90s movie? Does that seem like, I feel like these movies are really just indicative of what a 90s movie was.
These movies have 1990s tattooed on their forehead.
Yeah.
That's how 90s they are. While also wearing their baggy jeans and their grungy shirts. Yeah. All right. That is going to do it for us this time around. Thank you, Bo, and thank you, Pat.
Thank you, John.
Everybody, be excellent to each other. Go watch some good movies.
Life moves pretty fast. Some will